Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Demetra's Dishes, where I teach you how to make recipes worth sharing. Today I'm going to show you how to make chicken and trahana. If you've never had trahana, it's a pasta that's very commonly used in Greek cooking, Turkish cooking, and in the Middle East. It's an ancient fast food basically because it cooks up in like under 10 minutes. It's delicious and creamy. There are two kinds. There's sweet trahana and there's sour trahana. I prefer to use the sour trahana. I feel like it has more character. It's usually made with milk, yogurt, or a sour milk. It has a tiny bit of a tang to it. It has a tiny bit of a tang to it and a lot of creaminess. If you cannot find it, you can substitute your favorite pasta like orzo, couscous. You can even use bulgur or even rice if you really want to. It depends what you have. Use what you have, but if you can get it, you could find it in a local Greek specialty food store or online. I'll put a link down below, but you should try it at least once. We're gonna start making this dish. It moves along fast. So let's begin with the chicken. So I'm using chicken drumsticks. They're inexpensive and they cook beautifully. They stay juicy no matter how long you cook them. You can use any cut of chicken for this, whatever you have on hand. And I like to make sure that they're really dry before I start working with them. So I put paper towels underneath and on top. And I did take off the skin for this because they're not going to be crispy. Skin is good when the chicken stays crispy, and we're not doing that today. So I'm just going to very simply season both sides with salt and pepper. So now I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of olive oil to a cast iron skillet that's heating over medium heat. And I'm going to brown both sides of the chicken for about 5 to 6 minutes. So while the chicken is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and finely chop a large onion. So once the chicken is nice and brown, go ahead and add the finely chopped onion. Cover the pan and reduce the heat to a medium-low and let the onion cook until it's nice and soft. That's going to take about 6 to 7 minutes or so. While that's happening, go ahead and grate the garlic cloves and then chop up the roasted red pepper. I like to use roasted red peppers from the jar. They're really tender and smoky and slightly sweet. If you don't have them, you could leave them out. You can actually throw in any vegetables you have on here. Frozen peas would be great. Use whatever your favorite vegetables are. I just like to do the roasted red pepper because it adds a really nice pop of color and some sweetness. The onions are nice and soft. Now it's time to go in and add the garlic. This is grated garlic. And I'm just going to warm it through for just a few seconds. Once you smell it, that's good enough. I'm going to add a pinch of crushed red pepper flakes for heat. I love red pepper flakes. You could leave them out if you don't want the spiciness. Now I'm going to add 4 cups of chicken broth. You can use water instead because the chicken really does have tons of flavor. Should have used a bigger pot here, but I'm going to bring it to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, I'm going to add the roasted red peppers, the trahana, and a little bit of salt. You want to season every step of the way so that way you have tons of flavor. Let it simmer on a medium-low heat for about 8 to 10 minutes or until the pasta is totally cooked, and then we're going to be so much closer to it being ready. Once it's done, once 10 minutes are done, you might still see some liquid in the pan. Do not continue to cook it. It's going to absorb it all because it is pasta and it does like to absorb liquid. So don't worry about it. It's going to dry up in no time. Go ahead and finely chop some mint. You can use mint, parsley, rosemary, or even dried oregano. I'm using mint today. That's what I had. So that's what I used. I sprinkle some mint on top, and then the cherry on top is the feta cheese. It just goes so well with trahana. I went ahead and I crumbled some feta cheese and I just sprinkled it on top, and it is ready to be served. It looks so delicious. You can also go ahead and taste it and see if it needs more seasoning. But if you seasoned each step of the way just like I did, it's going to be perfect. It is time to take a bite. So good. The chicken is perfectly cooked, soft and tender. That pasta is so creamy, perfectly cooked. It's not mushy at all. It has a little bit of a bite to it, which I like. It doesn't taste too sour. Some trahana can be a little bit more on the sour side. This one isn't. It's beautiful. The mint just brightens it up and brings everything all together. You can also serve this with some lemon wedges and tzatziki. Totally up to you. In Crete, the trahana is also called xenochondros. So if you've heard that term, this is basically the same pasta. They make it in Crete with snails. So I'm really not a snail fan. My aunt made it for me and I just pushed the snails to the side and I ate the xenochondro and it was so delicious. Basically, it was made in like a red sauce. So if you want me to teach you how to do that, without the snails. I don't do snails, you guys. So if you want me to teach you how to make it in a red sauce, comment down below. There's also a very popular trahana soup that's served. You might have had it growing up as a kid. I know I did. It's very basic, but if you want to learn how to make it, comment down below and let me know. Print this recipe on the website, www.dimitrasdishes.com. All of the exact measurements are on there. It's underneath in the description box. Make this for your family. Make this for your loved ones. Gather around the table and create some memories. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you all next time. Yes, yes. I went ahead and I crumbled some feta cheese, and what did I do?